Hey, my name is Grayson with the KORONA support team. Going live can feel like an intimidating process. Fortunately, we're here to guide you through it. In this video, we'll go over some very important steps that you'll want to cover when going live so that you can move forward confidently. All right, let's go through this go live checklist to make sure you're prepared. Have you had at least one or two trainings? This is, of course, pretty important as we want to make sure you have a baseline of knowledge to use our system. Have you created cashiers and users for your account? This is pretty important as cashiers are going to be your logins for your point of sale itself, and the users are going to be your logins for the back office. Have you uploaded your products and do they scan? Once again, pretty important. You're going to want to make sure you're be able to sell those products and they imported correctly. And we also want to make sure they scan. Sometimes we may need to make a small adjustment to your scanner in order to make sure it's reading it correctly. Have you checked your warehouse to make sure your product quantities look correct? Once again, another part of the import process. If you want to start off with a baseline level of inventory and track that inventory, we're going to want to make sure to check that before we go live. Are your taxes set up correctly? As a baseline, I believe it sets up a general sales tax of 6%. Chances are that's not going to match exactly what the taxes you want for your products. So we're going to want to make sure to adjust those as necessary. Does your receipt printer print? And not only does it print, does it have the necessary or correct rather header of the company name and your address and any other information you want, maybe a footer with your return policy or something saying like thank you for your business, something like that. Have you made a test transaction on your credit card terminal? We want to make sure we tested that and made sure it communicated with the point of sale so that flows smoothly. Do you feel capable of performing basic functions using our point of sale? Pretty important when you're doing transactions with your customers. Going to want to make sure you're making that good impression with the customers and not, having too long to process some of the functionality there. That tends to fall in line with having that one or two trainings, as well as the last one, which is, are you capable or do you feel capable of performing basic functions on back office or KORONA Studio? We, of course, don't expect you to be masters or experts on our system. Fortunately, we have a very reliable support team to answer any and all questions that you have along the process. But if you feel pretty confident on answering yes on at least the large majority of these bullet points, I'd say we're ready to move on to the next step. All right, now that we've determined we're ready to go live, we're going to log into our KORONA Studio or KORONA back office. And we'll look at a button in the top left corner here that's either going to say subscribe and test if you're still in demo mode, or it will say go live. So for the few of you that are still in demo mode, I'll show you this process first. We're going to select subscribe and test, and we'll select at the bottom here if we want to do monthly or yearly. There's a slight discount for yearly. We're going to go ahead and select monthly here. At this point, you'll put in your credit card information or use PayPal. And we'll move on to test mode, followed by live mode. Once you've transitioned into test mode, you'll be able to move on to live mode. We can select this button in the top left corner here that will now say start live mode. On this page, the right side is going to be very important as we're going to select what data we want to be deleted. Ideally, you want to delete any and all data that contains tests and exclusively tests. If there is anything within your stocks that represents your actual stocks currently within your store, or if maybe there is inventory receipt that you created within your test mode that is accurate and true to your actual quantities on hand, you may not want to delete these. That can be pretty common, and that's why these aren't currently checked. But we'll go through this list and take a look at ones we don't want to delete or do want to delete, but we typically recommend to try to delete as much as possible so that we're getting rid of all test information and moving on with only real information here. Once we've determined this, we'll move on to start live mode. You'll get a CAPTCHA here that you can input, and you can select the start live mode button and you'll be live. If you have any questions at all or feel unsure about this process, please give us a call at our support line so we can guide you through it further. But besides that, you should be good to go.